A 30-year-old suspect by the name Joseph Efe was arrested by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NCDC) in Abuja after attempting to flee from a hotel where he had tied up a woman. Joseph met his victim by the name Olivia through a hookup site and lured her to his hotel room where he bound her legs, hands, and mouth with tape. Joseph confessed to being a Yahoo boy, that is, an internet fraudster, but denied any intent to kill the victim, claiming that he only wanted to steal her phone. He admitted to using psychological tactics to instill fear in his victims without weapons. Joseph started engaging in fraudulent activities just a month ago and had already targeted multiple women in different cities, including Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Abuja. On the day of his arrest, Joseph had checked into Top View Hotel in Abuja and invited Olivia over. After Olivia arrived, Joseph intimidated her by asking if she was afraid of death and claimed his accomplice was outside with an injection to further scare her. He tied Olivia up after threatening her, took her phone, and found no money in her bank account. While attempting to leave the hotel with her phone, Joseph's suspicious behavior was noticed by NSCDC officers stationed nearby. Joseph fled upon being confronted but was caught by the officers after a brief chase. Olivia made noise from the hotel room, prompting hotel staff to come to her aid and forcefully open the door, leading to her rescue. The NSCDC clarified that a viral video circulating about the incident was not recorded by their operatives. Olivia described how she was tied up, stripped, and threatened by Joseph, who increased the television volume to drown out her cries for help. Joseph used Olivia's phone to check her bank app and, finding no money, attempted to leave before being caught. Olivia managed to signal hotel staff by banging on the window, which eventually led to Joseph's capture. The NSCDC warned hotel owners in Abuja to be more vigilant and protect their guests, as criminals may use hotel facilities to carry out heinous acts. Olivia advised other young women to avoid engaging in dangerous hookup activities and find legitimate ways to earn a living. Joseph, on the other hand, claimed he had been involved in similar activities with about 4 other women, although one had resisted and escaped. Olivia stated that this was her first experience with such a dangerous situation and advised women to learn skills and avoid risky behavior. The NSCDC announced that Joseph and Olivia would be handed over to the Nigerian police for further investigation and prosecution. This news report presents a chilling account of a near-fatal encounter between a young woman and an alleged Yahoo boy, a term used in Nigeria for internet fraudster. The narrative dives into the harrowing experience of a woman named Olivia, who finds herself tied up and threatened after being lured into a hotel room under the pretense of a hookup, highlighting deeper societal issues such as online exploitation, the dangers of hookup culture, and a growing trend of internet-based crimes in Nigeria. The report provides a grim exploration of human vulnerability in the digital age and raises serious questions about the safety of young women engaging in online transactions. The video opens with a stark reminder of the growing dangers within the hookup culture, particularly when combined with Nigeria's rampant cybercrime problem. In a shocking confession, the alleged perpetrator, a self-proclaimed Yahoo boy, admits to meeting Olivia on a dating site, which he used to lure women into dangerous situations where he could rob them. He claims his intention was not to kill, but to psychologically intimidate his victims into submission, exploiting their fear for personal gain. From a critic's point of view, this case shed light on the intersections of economic desperation and moral decay in Nigerian society. The perpetrator, Joseph Efe, reveals that he turned to cybercrime out of economic necessity. He paints a picture of a man who does not perceive himself as inherently violent or malicious, but instead caught in a cycle of exploitation to make ends meet. This raises a critical societal question. Are we failing young men and women who feel that they have no other choice but to engage in illegal or dangerous activities to survive? One of the most striking aspects of this case is the perpetrator's use of psychological manipulation to control his victims. The fear instilled in Olivia was enough to make her complain even without the presence of a weapon. This speaks to a broader issue: how often victims of such crimes are made to feel powerless through fear and coercion. It is not just the physical violence that we should be wary of, but the emotional and mental violence that criminals like Joseph use to maintain control. Critically, it brings to, therefore, the question of whether our society truly understands the impact of such psychological terror. As 1-year-olds might find monster under their bed terrifying, adults can similarly become paralyzed by fear when faced with situations beyond their control. This crime, in essence, becomes a form of mental imprisonment. Critics might argue that the justice system and society at large needs to focus not only on punishing physical acts of violence, but also on addressing the manipulative tactics that criminals use to exploit their victims' vulnerability. Yahoo boys have become a symbol of a generation grappling with unemployment and the allure of quick wealth. This report touches on how cyber criminals have evolved, no longer just scamming unsuspecting people abroad, but now targeting individuals within their own country, especially vulnerable women. The fact that Joseph operated across multiple cities such as Lagos, Benin, and Abuja illustrates how these crimes have spread nationwide, infiltrating different levels of society. Critics often point to the failure of law enforcement in curbing the rise of Yahoo boys. The fact that Joseph had attempted similar crimes before, even managing to escape due to poor handling by hotel security, is telling. It reveals a larger systemic issue: a lack of proper security measures in place, like hotels, which are meant to be safe haven for their guests. The authorities' delayed action and reliance on the victims' cry for help further raise concerns about the effectiveness of preventive measures in protecting the vulnerable. Olivia's story, though harrowing, also shines a light on the bravery of victims who, despite being subjected to immense fear, fight for their lives. Her quick thinking, banging on the window, and snaring for help ultimately saved her from what could have been a fatal situation. Olivia's resilience speaks to the strength that victims of violent crimes often need to summon in order to survive. Her story raises the question, how can we better support victims of these crimes so that they do not have to rely solely on their own resourcefulness to escape? Critics may also discuss the societal pressures placed on women like Olivia, who out of economic desperation turn to hookup culture. The police spokesperson in the video admonishes young women to stay away from such dangerous lifestyle, urging them to seek legitimate means of income. While this advice is well-meaning, it also reflects a lack of deeper understanding of economic realities faced by many young women in Nigeria today. Simply telling women to be content with what they have and learn a trade ignores the structural inequalities that push them into this situation in the first place. The report closes with a call for vigilance from hotel owners and the public. There is a clear message that everyone from hotel staff to law enforcement must be more proactive in preventing this kind of crimes. Critics might point out, however, that this responsibility should not lie solely on individuals or private institutions. The government must take a more active role in addressing the root causes of these crimes, such as poverty, unemployment, and the lack of opportunities for young people. Is it fair to place the burden of safety on the victims themselves, or should societies, including law enforcement and government agencies, be doing more to tackle these issues head-on? This report leaves much room for discussion. Do you believe that Joseph is a victim of circumstance, or is he simply a dangerous criminal? Should young women like Olivia be blamed for putting themselves in risky situations, or is it society's responsibility to offer them safer alternatives? I will play the video for you guys to watch and see for yourself. Feel free to share your thoughts, opinion, and comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification icon to be notified whenever I drop new updates.
How old are you?
30.
Okay, can you explain it?
What do you do for a living?
I'm an artist. I say artworks.
Come again?
I'm an artist. I say artworks.
Yeah, your victim said you asked her if she's afraid of death. You attempted to strangle
Okay.
her.
Do you have any intention of
Explain, yes, please.
killing her?
If I wanted to kill her, I would have killed her before they came inside.
So
They
explain
came
what she
inside.
said.
So I don't kill. I'm not a killer.
So you are
If I wanted to kill her, she would have been dead before they brought me back to the hotel. So my intention was not to kill her. I'm not a killer. I've never killed before. I just wanted to take her phone.
But you asked her a question. You
If she's
asked her
afraid
if
of
she was
Okay.
afraid of death, so explain that.
When the girls come, I psych them and talk fear into them so they'll be afraid. I don't owe weapons, guns or anything to threaten them. So I have to psych them psychologically and talk fear into them so they would feel like I'm not alone, or something to just make them be afraid. Yeah.
So why did you choose this path?
I didn't choose this path. I found myself, and I made a mistake.
So how do you feel now?
And how many of these girls have you done this to? How many
said
girls
4.
have you done this to?
She has answered all this.
When did you start the business?
I said last month.
Last month. And are your parents alive?
I'm not really close.
Huh?
I'm not really close to them, so I don't know.
Are they alive? That's the question.
Stefan, we are writing name of next maker as well. Good afternoon, gentlemen of the press. I welcome you once again to Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, FCT Command here in Abuja for the parade of suspects that were apprehended for different criminal offenses and on different occasions. But first, let me start with the case of a suspected internet fraudster, popularly called Yahoo Boy, who on Wednesday, 18th of September 2024, the men of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, FCT Command, apprehended a suspected internet fraudster trying to escape from Top View Hotel, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. The suspect, 30 years old, by name Joseph Efe, who is of Edo and Ondo origin, was arrested after coming out of the hotel premises, allegedly to meet an accomplice, leaving his victim tied up, a female victim tied up in his hotel room. But for the eagle-eyed men of the NSCDC FCT Command, who were at their sentry posts at the time of the incident, upon noticing Joseph's suspicious movement, stopped him, but instead of him to stop, the suspect took to his heels after sighting our gallant officers, who gave him a hot pursuit, caught him, and was led back to his hotel room, where the naked girl was found, tied hands and leg with a semi-transparent adhesive tape, otherwise known as sellotape. The victim, by name Olivia Ijeoma Chukwuemeka, who hails from Abia State, was immediately rescued by my men from the situation where she had been stripped naked already, bound hand, feet and mouth. Upon preliminary interrogation and investigation, the suspect, Joseph Efe, confessed to being a Yahoo boy and that he has not been making so much money from his exploits, and part of their scheme is also to hunt for young girls on dating sites called Coded Wrongs, amongst others. Report also have it that he operates between Port Harcourt, Lagos, Benin, and Abuja. The command's investigation team immediately swung into action, and our investigation reveals also that the suspect, Mr. Efe, is a serial fraudster, popularly known as Yahoo Boys, and a thief who specializes in luring ladies on dating sites into hotel rooms with the intent to rob them of their phones and making withdrawals from their victims' bank accounts, amongst other activities which is relatively unknown, but when the investigation fully continues, we will begin to unravel other areas of their criminality. Investigation also reveals that the suspect came into Abuja from Lagos on the 17th of September 2024 and firstly lodged into Fab Hotel by Top Rank adjacent Old Federal Secretariat Area 1. So he had already lodged in a hotel before this incident where he was caught by our men. Upon his arrival at the hotel, adjacent Old Federal Secretariat, Area 1, his first victim, upon arrival, was another lady he invited to his hotel room, but could not succeed in his evil act because the lady was stronger and was able to put up some resistance. The noise from this incident attracted hotel staff at the said hotel, who came into his room, and he succeeded in escaping from the scene due to poor handling of the situation by the hotel security. Upon his escape from Fab Hotel, he then proceeded to Top View Hotel, where he checked in at about 2:30 a.m. of Wednesday, 18 September 2024. He then invited his latest victim, who arrived his hotel room at about 9 a.m. in the morning. Upon her arrival, he threatened, putting fears in her mind and holding her by the throat. In all of this, the frightened lady succumbed. She was stripped naked and bound, hands, leg, and mouth, by the suspect. Upon checking the victim's phone by the suspect, he discovered the lady had no money in her bank account, and then the victim's Android phone he took and left the hotel room. It was in the process of escaping from the hotel premises that his suspicious movements were noticed by my officers and men at the sentry posts outside the building. But when they stopped him, he took to his heels. But of course, you know, my men are ever gallant and ever ready. And that was why he was able to be apprehended and was made to go back to the hotel room. And at this juncture, let it be made abundantly clear that the said video that is going viral, that is in circulation on this incident, was not shot by the operatives of the NSCDC. We only became aware of his existence after it went viral on social media. Of course, recall that the victim, after she was bound, made efforts and made some noise, which also attracted the staff of the hotel. So as at the time my men were apprehending the suspect, the hotel too, due to the noise made by the lady, had already also moved into action, and together the lady was rescued. But of course, the hotel staff were the one that forcefully opened the door after the lady made noise and cried for help. Furthermore, as a corps, we are duty bound and empowered to do due diligence before taking necessary steps towards prosecution or handing over of a suspect, as the case may be, to relevant agencies. After our preliminary investigation, the suspect and the victim will be handed over to the Nigerian police for further necessary action, investigation, and possible prosecution. Let me, at this point, use this medium to warn all hotel owners within the Federal Capital Territory to be more vigilant and be security conscious. They should do more to protect their guests. Security of their guests is very paramount. And the hotel facilities also should not be left unguarded, as this can be infiltrated by any criminally minded individual in the name of lodging or making reservation in the hotel, as they may use their facilities to perpetrate any sort of heinous crime. Imagine if the victim had not made effort to rescue herself, had not made effort to cry for help. The situation may have been different, because nobody knows the real intention of the suspect. But I'm sure further investigation will unravel that. At the same time, let me also caution all young ladies, also known as runs girls, to desist from such acts of endangerment. This act will endanger their lives. It will expose you, and you can get killed in the process. The situation of the country, no matter how hard you think the economy is biting, there is still a way out, and there are a lot of legitimate means of livelihood. Save yourself, save your life, save your parents, and also let's save the nation. It will do you good to stop this criminal enterprise and take a cue, take a lesson from what just happened to the victim we just rescued.
My name is F.A. Joseph. I was arrested. I was arrested because I tied the girl up and was running away with her phone. Because I took her phone and ran away, so she won't follow me. I met her on a site, Coded Runs. It's a site for hookup girls. I invited her, yes. So come, so we had fun, and then she gets paid and she goes. So I could take her phones on so she won't follow me when I'm leaving. So she won't follow me when I'm leaving. Yes, ask her to take off her clothes. Because if I'm leaving and she eventually untie herself and try to follow me, before she put on her clothes and stuff like that, I'll be long gone. Last month. I can't really. Approximately, I can't really say, like maybe 500 or. When you say destroyed. Okay, 4. I didn't do anything to that one. She's a full-time hookup girl, so she fought with me and she shouted, and I couldn't take her phone, so I left. Just Lagos and Port Harcourt and yeah. No. Yes. Okay. To be honest, because I was trying to raise money for my younger sister, who is a sickle cell. I'm an auntie, so I say her talk. Yes.
What do you feel into this? What is or somebody got into it?
Nobody.
WhatsApp and asked me for a meetup, which I accepted. So he asked me what I would take. I told him. He said, okay, I should come over. That he's at Top Rank Hotel, Top View Hotel, Zone 5 in Abuja. Then when I got here, he was outside already. He paid for the cab with Ife, then led me to the hotel room. So when I got inside, he locked the door and started apologizing because he wasn't picking up my calls earlier. So he started apologizing for not picking up my calls earlier. I said, okay, no problem. Then he asked me where I'm from. I told him. He asked me my name. I told him again. Then he drew his chair closer to me and asked me if I'm afraid of death. I said, I can't answer that. Why would you ask me if I'm afraid of death? He said I should answer if I'm afraid of death or not. I said I can't answer that. Though I've seen death has happened to me, but I can't answer you if I'm afraid of death or not. He said if I cooperate with him, I won't get hurt like other girls. That his friend is outside with injection. If I should make any move or try to scream or do anything funny, that his friend will come inside and inject me and it won't be funny. I got scared. Then I started pleading. I said, what do you want to do to me? Do you want to hurt me? He said he won't hurt me if I cooperate with him. Then he slapped me and asked me to remove my clothes. I was trying to go to the door. He locked the door and took the key. He said I should remove my clothes. Then I carefully removed my dress. He used my dress to tie my hand. It wasn't tightened enough. Then he used the pillowcase to tie my hands, my two hands. Then he lifted up the bed and took sellotape under the bed. When he took the sellotape, he used it to tie my hands again. Then brought out white handkerchief from his pocket. So he said I should open my mouth. I tried to scream. He increased the television volume to the last. He removed it from all the channels. It was just blank, like making noise. Then he increased the volume and said I should shut up. That his friend is not as nice as he is. If I should make any move or anything, that his friend will come inside and inject me. Then I became very scared. He proceeded in tying my hands with the sellotape, and there's this chair inside the room. He tied my two legs with the chair. Then he used the handkerchief to tie my mouth and also sellotape my whole head with the sellotape around my face. Then he proceeded in bringing my phone. He brought my phone and asked me to open the password. Then I used my fingers to open my password. He went direct to my phone, my bank app, and opened my bank app. The only bank app in my phone is OPay, which there was no money in the bank. So he opened it. He asked me for my PIN. I put my PIN because all my mouth and everything was tied up. I used my fingers to open my PIN. Then he saw that there was no money. He said that he's going out now. Then he booked his ride. When it was like 1 minute away, he went outside and came back again. He said his friend is outside. If I should make any move or anything, that his friend will come inside and inject me. I shook my head and said, no, I won't make any move. Then he went outside again and came back. I was trying to move. When I saw the movement, I maintained. Like I just pressed my head on the wall. Then he came back again and viewed me and watched me and said, don't make any move. I shook my head and said, okay. Then he left and locked me inside. So when he went out, I saw like the hotel. I saw a red uniform. I noticed it was the hotel staff. Then I started shifting myself with the chair. I struggled to get to the window. I struggled. Then I got to the one. I started banging the window for them to hear me. Because of the loud television volume, the man couldn't hear me. I proceeded. I was hitting the window for him to hear me. Then thank God the guy was able to hear me and came to my rescue. Then I gave him a sign that he should follow the guy. The person just left now. Then he ran after him and caught him.
How long have you been let's know the name of the site?
Coded site.
Coded site. How long have you been on that site?
February.
February this year.
Yes. That was when I logged in.
That's when you joined the site. So how many of such men have you hooked up with on that site?
I don't stay here. I don't stay, so I don't really hook up.
Where do you stay?
In Enugu with my elder sister.
So how did you get to Abuja?
I have a handwork. I'm in nail tech and I do pedicure and manicure.
Did you come to Abuja to do your yes?
I do it by fix my friend's nails also. At home. No, here.
Here in Abuja.
That morning.
That morning. And the
when he went through my app, what I thought maybe he wanted to take my money and my phone from my app. I didn't really know his intentions really. But when he opened my app, all my mind was maybe he wanted to rob me and take my phone.
What kind of phone do you use?
An Android phone.
Having gone through this experience, what will you continue to do? Will you continue the business? Huh? No, madam.
No,
never.
The
100,000. So what advice do you have for others? Other girls that are into the business like
my message to other girls is to be contented with what they have and learn a handwork and also prayerful. To stop whatever hookup they are doing.
Will you go back into the business after this?
No.
That 100,000 I promise you.
It's not.
Huh?
Not 100,000.
Not 100,000. So when you were talking, who recorded you? Who recorded you?
When they came, there were so many people out there that came with him. So many staff, other people from outside, they recorded him. 411.